All right, here we go. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Live by JMAR. And it's been the summer, and I haven't been on here very much, but I am excited because I have a guest on today who I've been kind of creeping on, and um, heard his latest pod. He just started a new podcast himself. His name is Joey Speers, and he's a creative. And what is that? A creative is someone who does like video and audio and just helps people brand their stuff. He's on the line already, so I'm going to go ahead and let him say hi.
Hey, how are you?
You know what I'm impressed most about you, Joey, as I listened to your podcast, your new one. You guys got to go listen to it. What's the name of your podcast?
It's called Walls to Hurdles.
Walls to Hurdles. And what I love about when I first heard your podcast, it was amazing. It was so good. The first one you've ever did. I was just like, oh, so I reached out to you the day I heard it, and I put it all over my Instagram stories because I was just so impressed with your wisdom. But what I'm most impressed about is when I went onto your page and I saw that you're also a man of faith. And that really intrigued me a lot because I'm a believer too. Here in Texas, it's all about Jesus and sunshine. And so I was like, I got to get to know this kid. And so I reached out to you and you were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get on together. And so the energy that you have is incredible. And I'm excited to share it with my listeners.
Amazing. Can't wait. Let's do it.
Okay, so you guys, he's super young. He's super successful. You are incredibly successful in what you do and in your business. And can you explain to me a little bit what a creative does, like what you're doing and how you, I want to get to all that business stuff. I also don't go too far into it because I also want to find out how you were brought up and all that kind of stuff too. That people really get to know you.
Totally. So for the last 6 years, I've ran a media agency called JS Media. So I started it at the age of 14. Best decision I've ever made.
Awesome.
It's been a blessing after blessing after blessing for me. And then in the past year, I've started to shift a little bit, and I'm also a creative business coach. So that's actually what's bringing me the most joy right now, because I'm getting to help people step into that the same way I did when I started, and walk into creative and financial freedom. So it's a beautiful thing. On the media side of things, just like you said, we come alongside companies, organizations, brands, whatever it is, individuals, and we just provide them with creative solutions to their problems in whatever way that looks like. So, yeah.
Well, okay. I hope you guys heard that. He said 14. That means, okay, Jenny math, that's what my husband calls it. Whenever I do anything when it comes to math, you've been in the industry for 6 years. So that puts you at I'm almost at 6 years in this, and you're only 21. You're only 20.
Yeah, so I guess this is actually 7 years, because I'm just about to turn 21 and at the end of the fall. And then, I started at 14. So this would be 7 years, I guess.
That is incredible.
That's flown by.
That is incredible. That is incredible because when I was 14, I didn't have it. I can't even tell you what I was doing at 14. Oh my gosh. Like I wasn't, let's put it this way. I wasn't trying to start a business. At 21, I wasn't trying to start a business. That's insane. I just love that. It's an inspiration. And I'm so impressed. Like how does someone at 14, like, golly, I can't believe you're 21. You're about to be 21. My daughter is 21, just turned 21. So they're the same age. It's just crazy. I could be your mom. That's nuts. Weird moments with JMAR. Okay, anyways. So at 14 years old, where's your headspace? Like, what makes you think, hey, like, I'm just going to start this thing? Like, is that from your parents? What instilled that in you? What do you think that came from?
Yeah, I would say everything is my parents. I owe everything to my parents. I was raised in a way where all my friends got this and got that, and I had to pay for it. So
you had to earn it?
I hated that. I hated that growing up, and it sucked. But looking back on it, I'm so thankful, because before I started the film business, I had a little like lawn business, and I would go around and cut people's lawns or shovel people's driveways and make a quick buck here and there. And that's how I would afford eventually to buy some camera gear, which then turned into the media business. So like I said, I owe everything to my parents. They raised me in a way where I had to fight and earn things I got.
Yeah.
But in a way where they supported me through that. And it wasn't just go do it. go figure it out. It was here, you want to do this, you're going to need to, earn an X amount of dollars or do this. And so you need some help. And so they would help me with connections and with networking and teaching. My parents work for a super cool company. It's a world leader in leadership development and experiential education stuff and culture transformation. And so they are themselves incredibly smart and got some really cool wisdom around sales and culture and all that stuff. So I've got a pretty good team on my back. And so at a young age, I just realized that I needed to start making money if I wanted to keep playing hockey. I know that's not something you guys do too much down in Texas, but yeah,
it's all about football here.
Yeah, I had a couple things I wanted to do, and so I had to make some cash. So I just started. To be honest, I wouldn't even say I intentionally. I definitely did not do it for the money. I did it because I loved it. I was always that kid who wanted to capture things just because I was fascinated with moments and fascinated with capturing them so I could relive them. And that just turned into people seeing different things and saying, "Hey, I've got a business. Would you mind coming and shooting a video for us for $50?" or $100. And I would be like, oh my gosh, $100. Like, yeah, that's so much money. And I was like 12, 13. And I was like, of course I would do a video for $100. Now I wouldn't even respond. But, so yeah, it's crazy to see how things changed, but, the early start and the support from my parents is something I'm forever thankful for. And I owe it all to them for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So is it John Maxwell that they're involved in? Anything with him?
No, it's called Eagles Flight. It's a company. It's a Canadian-based company. So that, yeah, awesome. They do tons of stuff. Actually, the majority of the stuff is in the States. I won't get into any details or anything, but it's just super cool. They work with the biggest companies in the States and in the world doing stuff. And it's really cool to see. I'm not a part of that company, but I've grown up seeing the back end of it and am surrounded by some people who are very good at what they do. And yeah, so it's been cool.
That's why it's a passion of yours to help others, because you've seen how that has helped you and you've seen what it's done in your life and coming alongside them and helping them though. I was listening to your latest podcast that you did about finding a mentor. It was one of the steps. It was like, I think it was the latest one you did. You only had 2 right now, right?
I've only got 3. Yeah, but you are right. The last one I did was just about kind of how to achieve your dreams.
Yes.
And make it seem not as gnarly and as insane when you actually start dreaming things and talking about working back and finding a mentor. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was really good because I love how you keep things simple. I'm in the fitness and wellness industry. And the one thing that I believe that God's given me the ability to do is keep it simple, because we're so inundated with so much information. It's overwhelming, right? And so what does it do? It puts people like, they don't move. They get frozen. They get like overload, like information overload. Like the internet is an awesome thing. YouTube's great. And all this information is so great and helpful, but sometimes it's not about what it's about how to apply it and move with it. And so keeping it simple, and that was a really simple podcast. Like you kept it just like, go here and then move backwards from there. And there's your ladder to success. And I was like, this is so good. And it's transformational. That's the difference, is you're a transformational coach. You're able to take people and say, this is your dream. Let's transform it into a reality. Let's make it be your thing, And that's the hardest part, I think, for people, is getting to that place, because they don't know the steps. And in 3 little simple steps, you said, this is how you do it, you know? And I totally agree with that.
Yeah. I'm glad you got that from that, because that was the goal. So I haven't actually gotten a ton of feedback on that. The other 2 I'd gotten a lot of feedback on, but yeah, for some reason I didn't get a ton of feedback on that one. So I'm glad you said that.
Well, don't lose heart on that. I think it's because of the time of the year. I'm finding in this time in July, in this season, that a lot of people are actually busy with vacations and stuff like that with their families, and they're not even social media and things like that are slowing down, because schools are going to start up and people are just in a different place, right now, where they're just not, they're like in a place of rest almost. It's weird. So it will take off and it will help a lot of people, and you'll get the feedback, but it might take just like a week or 2 for some reason, July just seems like maybe it's the heat. It's just
Yeah.
things slow down. I don't know. It's not, is it hot there where you are?
Yeah, it's about 100 degrees.
Oh my gosh, you got
Yeah.
Texas weather there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Canada is the land of extremes. It's either extremely hot or extremely cold.
Yeah, the cold I would have a problem with. The heat, I'm fine. That's why I'm a Texas girl. I love the heat. But the cold, my husband would love it. Like, he keeps his house freaking freezing. He loves the cold. He would move there in a heartbeat and loves that kind of temperatures. But man, not me. That's not my thing. So I can't believe it's 100 degrees there though. That's crazy. So has it been? Are you just getting a heat wave, or is it normally like that?
No, it's normally like that. And
Oh,
it's I don't know about Texas. I haven't been to Texas, but it's super humid here. Like it is very, very humid. So it's a wet 100 degrees. Like you're sweating.
you just walk
So
outside, sweat. Yeah, that's what it's like here. Because I'm from Dallas, like the Dallas Fort Worth area. It's very humid, and it's not as humid as Houston, but yeah, it's humid and hot, and I love it.
mhm,
I love
mhm.
flinging the
Yeah.
sweat. I know I'm weird, but that's just, I love it. But okay, so we're not. This is not a weather station, so we don't have to. Okay, so you kept it really simple, and I was watching your stories the other day, yesterday actually it was. That's how this conversation came to be so quickly. Um, Yesterday I was watching your stories, and you were talking about a mastermind group. So you're getting, so that you're. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing with that
Yeah. So as a creative, something we are terrible at
business.
is generally business. Yeah, creatives generally aren't good at business, and and I've just come to realize that that is where my strong suit is. I am much more of a businessman than I am a creative
Yeah,
any day of the week, and I love that. And I've been lucky to be given that because it's often something that creatives struggle with, and so I kind of took a step back, and as my career started to take off, there was a few things that really made it boom, I would say. And that was just coaching, community, and accountability. Three things that most creatives never get.
yeah,
So I wanted to offer that and make sure that creatives had a space that they could step into where they are supported, where they're understood. Creatives are weird sometimes in the way our brains work. You know, I've got both sides of the left and right brain there. So a place where they're understood, a place where they're supported, and a place where they can be kept accountable. So yeah, it's called the Creative Rise Mastermind. I am so excited. It's coming out on the 30th, and it's gonna be life changing. This is when you can step out of um, a place where you don't have freedom with your time, creativity, or finances, and step into financial and creative freedom. Everything changes. Your life changes, right? So I'm
yeah.
excited. I can't wait to get it going.
Yeah, well, I feel like when you have, like, 'cause sometimes it's like when you have a gift and then you charge for it. I think I know for myself, it's been something, and I'm in my 40s. It's been something that I've struggled with. I'm working on it, and I've gotten better at it. But I have struggled with, well, oh, it's okay, don't you don't need to pay me for that, or like it's because it's something that you enjoy and love so much, you feel almost bad sometimes taking money for it. But then you can't, if you're not charging. One thing I found is, if you're not charging people for the service that you're providing them, then you're doing yourself a disservice in the sense of you can't help more people, because if you don't have the financials to help to coming in, you can't help more people, right? And so I love that you're doing that, because you're going to help coach them into figuring out not only that they can make good, can make a living doing what they love. And when I feel like if it's something you love, it's a gift from God. That's just how I
Absolutely.
roll.
A
Yeah.
hundred percent, yeah, and it's a disservice to them actually if you don't charge them. And why I say that is, so often when we do things that we got for free, we never fully step into it, never fully own it. And then on the flip side, how can we expect them to step into their own and charge other people for their natural skills and talents and God-given gifts if we don't do that? So
Good. So
yeah, it's
good.
leading by example. Yeah.
I love that. You're so wise for your age. I needed you in my life like 20 years ago. No, I mean, because I'm part of a mastermind too, and here in the area I live in, and it's when you get the right people together in the right place at the right time, right things happen. There's something. It's just God's a God of relationships, and if you can't do anything alone, because I mean it's scriptural. Like, you have to be in relationship with. Well, you don't have to. If you're a believer, you have a relationship with God. It's not, so if that's strong, and then you have relationships with God's people who he says to love, right? That you can't go wrong. And it's amazing the things that happen in those environments, because you were at one just recently, and you have a new, and in California, you were saying before we got on.
Yeah, so that's the one I'm a part of. It's in California, which is super cool. It's run by Chris and Lori Harder, who are just, I feel like they're, this is going to be funny if they hear this, but I feel like they are kind of like my second parents. And
Awesome.
I say that in a funny way, but it's true. They're a couple from Cali who are just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, extremely successful. But at the end of the day, they're huge philanthropists, and their hearts are just pure gold. And so they run these masterminds. It's exactly what you're talking about. They get the right people in the right room, and everybody steps forward saying, hey, this is what I can offer. And everybody contributes, and magic happens every single time. So this has been my first year experiencing the power of a mastermind. And I said to my parents the day after I came home from the first time I was out there, and I said, I will never not be in a group like this ever again. Like I will ever be in one of these groups. They're so impactful.
They're so valuable. You can't put a price on it. And it's expensive to be a part of some of them, and so, but the value outweighs the monetary, the money that you're putting into it, because
every time,
like what you said, the philanthropy, if you can't give if you don't have. And so you've got to be together with these great minds and creating things and together, like, give, because people need love and they need stuff too, that's it's not just about, it's great that you can, give them a hug and but you got to give things too. You got to give money. You got to be able to give them what they need to better their lifestyle, depending on what it is that you're giving to, and do it without wanting anything back. That's the main thing, and so that's cool that you're a part of that. It sounds like it brought you back home, and now you have your own because of it.
Yeah. Well, it's opening up on the 30th. So I'm super excited. It's going to be I know it's a foreign concept for a lot of creatives because creatives are so self-taught. So it's going to be weird. And I know it already has been weird to communicate with people and try and get this idea in their head of, community and collaboration and coaching. And they're like, well, why would I pay for that? It's like, well, it's just so hard to explain sometimes, but it's going to be really fun.
The right people will come.
Yeah, I'm just so excited to open cart and get things going and change some lives.
How are you going to do the meetings? Are you doing it on through social media, or are you going to be doing it?
Everything's just going to be virtual. It's just going to be an 8-week one to start, and it's kind of like a beta. It's going to be an 8-week, and then we're going to see how it goes, and then we might move to in-person stuff from there.
That's so awesome. That's so great. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And so if you're listening to this, I'm going to be putting all of your stuff in the show notes, of course, so they can contact you and, things like that, so they can be a part of, maybe this sounds like something that you would really benefit from. I don't let age keep you from being involved in something, because you're, like I've said, the information that you have and the business skills that you have, they exceed your age. For sure. The maturity that you have and the ability that you have to, I don't know, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Communicate it. And like I said earlier, transform it and make it happen for people is a gift. And so I'm excited to see all the people you get to help through that, and connecting with that,
Yeah. So, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. So what exactly, when you look at your day, and if someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, he's a creative. So, and I know you're going into the business side of things now, but before you've been stepping into this business side of things, when you were just starting out, how did you connect with the right people? Like what were some of the things that you did to be able to, because you were saying like people would just hire you to video their things, or like how did you get in touch with people? How did they know what you did? If someone's just starting out and they're listening to this, they're like, okay, that's great. I've got this gift. I know I can do it, and I'm really good at it. How did you start?
Yeah. So I would say that from the beginning, I've always had a lot of clarity on the business side of it. And I think there was one crucial thing. I always say there was one crucial thing that I did at the beginning of my career that more than boosted the trajectory of where I was going. And I still strive to do this today. And it's just simply this: find someone who you gotta, I mean, I basically could just recite that last podcast I did. It's first, you've got to declare your ambition. If you have not declared your ambition, no one can help you. So I'm a firm believer in nothing becomes real until you speak it. And so if you're a creative or you have creative stuff and you have creative passions and you want to monetize them, you got to tell people, because until you start telling people, until you declare that ambition, no one's going to be there to say, hey, I want to hire you, or hey, I've got a friend who's got a company, let me connect you. You could do some really cool stuff for them. So step one is you've got to declare your ambitions when you're starting out. And step two is you've just got to go find somebody who's doing what you want to do and learn from them. And so I would say I did a pretty good job when I was 13, 14 of knowing what I wanted to do and finding the people who did it, and then going and saying, hey, this is who I am. I would love to come and work for free for you. Or can I carry your camera gear around all day? I just want to be involved and I just want to learn. And quickly what I found was people were like, oh, totally. Of course. Yeah. Come carry my lights, come carry all my stuff, help me mic people up, help me set up lights. And I wasn't actually hands-on with a camera or anything, but what was happening was confidence was just being instilled in me every second of the day I was with these people, because I was with these people who were doing amazing, cool things. And as a young kid, I was able to step into that in a way where I was fully exposed, yet I didn't have the same amount of responsibility. And so it was very light on myself, and in a way where I could just be there and be fully present. And I wasn't anxious. I wasn't worried, because I was just there pushing a cart around all day. That was my only job. And so as long as I could keep the cart in a straight line and take it from A to B, I would do good. So it allowed me to focus on everything there, focus on how he's talking to people, how he's interacting with the clients, on car drives to and from, I'd ask questions. And so I quickly built a network of people that I'm really thankful for, that helped me when I was starting out. And so for anybody who's just getting going, and I think these aren't tips for just creative passions. This is for anything.
For anything. I agree.
Anything you want to get into, anything. You got to just go find someone who's doing it and do it. And I know there's so much controversy around school or not school and all that stuff, but I really am a firm believer that there's never been a time with so much instant opportunity. The way that we're able to connect with somebody via social media, over the phone, over Zoom, podcasting like we're doing right now, in an instant, and your life could be changed forever. There's just wasn't the same level of that opportunity even 15 years ago. And so it's super cool. It's extremely encouraging. And it's a gift that we're able to do that so easily. So for anybody starting out in anything, I think it's so exciting, because if you do truly love it, I actually sat down with somebody, just a person from Instagram that hit me up, and she started doing exactly that. She's starting a creative passion of hers. And
awesome.
She's just graduated high school, and she's actually from the same area. So I met up with her for coffee this morning, and she had asked me to answer some questions, and she had awesome questions. And the biggest one she asked me was like, so I'm starting my career. How do I, what's the number one thing I need to be doing? And I was like, you're doing it. I'm sitting here having coffee with you. Like, this is exactly what you need to be doing, is just find as many people as you can and just, let them build into you, which is super cool. So it's so encouraging that I was able to kind of pass the torch, and I'm able to do that pretty much on a daily basis. I get a lot of people giving me the opportunity to answer questions, and it's fun to be able to kind of come full circle on that, because that's something that I know I am so thankful for, because I had people play that role in my life when I was just getting started.
Well, I mean, you're speaking, well, you said it, encouragement, like not encourage, when you know who you are, and and you're confident in who you are, there's nothing that can hold you back. And so the confidence that girl had to reach out to you to say, you know what? He might say no, he might say yes, but I'm going to just go ahead and reach out. You respected that. You saw that and you go, yeah, I can meet up with you for coffee. Let's talk about this. And then the seeds that you're planting, she's going to take those and then it's going to grow into something. And then full circle later on down the road, you're going to run into her and she's going to be like, hey, I know this guy named Joey and this is what he did for me and stuff. But it started with confidence. And my pastor, how he puts it is he calls it Godfidence. And so I steal it all the time. And it's just knowing who you are. And with the latest podcast that you went through with the steps, you're saying declare ambition. I love that, but you have to know who you are, right? And so you kind of have to just sit there and go, okay, not care so much what people think and just be man, I'm fumbling over my words right now. You said you're a bad interviewer, but I'm in, because like when you're talking, I'm like, yes. And then I want to interrupt it, but I'm not going to interrupt. And then I forget what I was about to say, but basically it all comes down to just having that confidence in yourself. And then, reaching out, getting the mentors that you need and moving forward and putting in the time. Like you put in a lot of time helping to learn it. I think we sometimes get stuck in getting too much information and not just moving and going.
Oh, 100%. My favorite, I'm sure you know who Bob Goff is.
Yes.
He's absolute legend. He's changed my life time after time after time. And I love how he just puts things, if you want to talk about someone who puts things simply, Bob Goff puts things so simply. And he just says, when you don't know where to go, just take a step. Like don't stand in the same place and left, look forward, look back, look right, and say, which way do I go? Just try one, take a step. And so that's what I'm so encouraged by. Her name was Britt. She did that yesterday. She just hit me up and I was like, of course. And she's like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited. Like I get to have coffee. I'm like, no, like it's like you're exactly me. This is like we're doing the exact same things. And I still reach out to people on the daily. Hey, I would love to bring you value in some way, and I would love to learn from you. Like it never ends. And so, it's so cool. I love when I see people pursuing their dreams, even if it's not clear, but you can just tell they're so confident in just taking that next step. It's amazing. I love it.
I'm going to take a quote from the podcast that I found you on. You said, being a creative, hopefully I don't mess it up. I kind of have notes here, but I didn't write it like word for word. But being a creative without a business is like a camera without a lens. And I was like, wow. And then you went into explaining that. So tell me, when did you come up with that? Like, where did you think about that? Did that just come out when you were talking?
That just came out when I was talking. Cause I think you must have found me on Zach Kravitz's podcast. Cause that's, I think, where it was. And Zach said to me, he's like, whoa, I love that. Like, where'd you hear that? And I was like, I don't know. It might've just come out, but the line is this: a creative without the business aspect of things is like a camera without a lens. And the concept is, you can be so wildly creative, but if you don't understand how to, monetize what you do and how to understand your value and then display that to somebody and understand how what you do changes someone's business, someone's life, whatever it's going to be, it
doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. And
it doesn't work.
That's just what so many creatives get caught up in. There's this very cliche term that goes around in creative circles. I'm just got to work on my work. Everybody calls it my work. They say, oh, my work, or, I love your work. And it's like, it's not work. It's just a photo. Like, it's just weird how people call things that. But they say when you work on your work, you'll get paid. When your work becomes a certain level, a certain caliber, that's when people are going to start paying you. And that's just not true.
Yeah.
I often say I am by no means the best photographer or videographer there is at all. There's people who are so good at what they do. I just make money because I understand how what I do brings value to people. Yeah. And I think I said it on, I did my second podcast I did was called How to Make $50,000 with No Followers, because that's another huge excuse I hear is, oh, I just don't have followers like you. I can never do it. And my answer to that is, oh, you just have to understand business. And again, I don't know where I got this either. This kind of came to me while I was talking about it, but I'm sure I heard it somewhere. It's just that the concept of business is so simple. It's just money circulating from somebody with a problem to somebody with a solution every time. It's always been that way. It will forever be that way. And so if you find yourself as a creative and you're like, how do I fit into that picture? Or you find yourself as a fitness coach, whatever it's going to be, how do I fit into the picture? Again, business is simply a transaction of somebody with money who has a problem giving that money to somebody with the solution. And so if you can find a way to identify where your value is and then identify who needs that value, package it in a way that is, pleasing, and then you just deliver it and you'll get paid every single time. So yeah, it's just like simplifying things. We
It is.
overthink everything. And I'm a big fan of simplifying things. That's why I love Bob Goff so much. He just makes everything simple.
Yeah, well, obviously you've studied some of his stuff, because everything I've ever listened to you, and even listening to you now and in this conversation, you keep it simple. You're like, it's just somebody who has something that if you can solve a problem. What we all have cell phones, right? And it's, what is it, Apple that came up with it? I don't even know the history of it, but it was a problem having to talk on it, because I grew up where you actually had to, there was this thing, a telephone in your home that was attached to a wall, and then it had a cord to it. So if you wanted to get privacy, you had to go around the corner.
Yeah.
If you're not watching this on video, because my son puts these things on YouTube, but if you're just listening on audio, just hopefully I'm explaining it well enough, but to get privacy so you could talk to somebody, or you had to get all the way home to listen to a recording to talk to see if your friends have some plans.
We actually have we have one of those phones over here in this corner of the house. Yeah.
I love it.
Cord on the wall. So we don't ever use it, but it's still there. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So what do? He solved a problem of communication and made it easy and put it in our hands, right? So that's the exact same thing, is that there was a problem. People needed to communicate and it'd be more efficient than, having to wait till you got home or go to a payphone and put money in. And, and look at what he did. So if you have something that, can benefit somebody and add value to them, you've got a business. And usually that thing that it is usually a gift. I think it's a gift from God. And so bring him into it and ask him to help you too, and then get in the right place with the right people at the right time, like Joey does. Get in his mastermind group and, and learn just the simple concepts of how to make it a business. It doesn't have to be complicated. I love that.
Totally.
You're so great. I love that. So I can't believe you're going to be 21 in just a few months. What I was thinking when I was creeping on your page, I thought, oh, he's probably like 26, 27. I knew you were young, but I didn't know you were that young.
Yeah, I get that. I get that quite a lot. The 26, 27 thing.
Yeah.
I actually used to get that when I was like 17 too. I got the same. Oh, you're like 27. I'm like, no, I'm 17.
You have brothers, sisters, or anything?
Yeah, I'm the oldest of three, so I got two little sisters.
Oh, how great.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome for them.
It's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate your time. Is there anything you want my listeners to hear that, because, I don't want to keep you too much longer, and I feel like we covered so many things. It was fun for me to be able to talk to you and listen to you, and you've added a ton of value to my life, so I appreciate you for that.
Of course.
Is there anything that you want to leave on?
Question: Who's your average listener? Maybe I can, if I know that, I can speak.
I think I'm pretty much. It's all over the place. But I want to say it's the person who has a business or has a passion or that wants to be able to make it work in their life. Because I have a lot of guests on that are fitness professionals or business entrepreneurs that I've had like Natalie Jill on and stuff like that, where it's also, she's awesome. She was that was a good interview.
I was with her in California a month and a half ago, I think.
You'll have to have her on. She came on mine a couple months ago, right before you guys, I think, met up. Maybe that's how I found you. I don't know. But she was on. And so people like that it's also wellness related too. Like it's fitness and health, but because I think you have to have those things to do anything in life. Like it starts with that too. You can't do things if you're not healthy. So I really that's one of my gifting is I just help people. I keep wellness simple and I keep fitness simple. And so when I started this podcast, it was just to encourage and inspire and help people realize their greatness. And then, just to feed into their energy and give that and just inspire them, so I think the average, the statistics that you look at, the analytics is probably majority female, 70% female, and from the age of 24 to like 50. So
cool. Yeah. Well, wellness, fitness, everything ties in. I would say maybe I'll go off something that I know quite well, or I would like to think I know well, and something that I hold highly and really build into myself on the daily. Just mindset. I think mindset is everything, and it's the difference between success and failure, and then success and success. And I know maybe I'll just play it off my show because I know we've been talking about that, but I just encourage people, there's so many times that and I don't know if we even explained what my show is about. But it's just about taking walls in our lives. We all have walls. Every single day we face a wall. Some people face walls the minute they open their eyes. And so many of us just let that condemn us and keep us down, myself included. I host the show because it's a direct message every time I hear the name and every time I get on there to remind myself that a wall is nothing more than a hurdle if you call it that. So I would just encourage everybody, examine your life, find the walls within your lives, point to them as nothing but a hurdle, and find out how to run and jump and get over that. And if you can't do that, go find a track coach. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
You can figure it out. Whatever the issue is, someone's been there, someone's been through it, someone's gotten to the other side. You're never the first one to go through something. So there's always a way to find support and find someone that can help you out. So that's my message. That's what my show is about. I guess I can leave you guys with that. It's something that I really love and I'm passionate about sharing. So yeah.
And it shows. I mean, it's having a healthy perspective, looking at things and going, okay, this is the situation. These are the things I don't like about it. How do I change those things and then, work on those things? It's just, totally. I mean, there's another simple, right?
Simple.
1, 2, 3.
Life is just simple. Why do we complicate it so much?
Me all the time, every day. Whenever I'm meeting with clients or companies, I go through 3 things, and I just say, you assess their health, you see where they're at, each person, and then you address it. That's number 2, and then you progress and you move forward with it. And those 3 things it's life changing. And when I trained athletes, I've been in the industry for 20 years, and I started with personal clients and then also athletes. And then, I was a former athlete, my husband and my kids are. And so I'm in that world a lot, and everything, never once did I ever train an athlete that I couldn't get them to the speed they wanted or to jumping or whatever. The physical aspects was the easiest part. There was hardly any conflicts in it. It always started with mental. Mm-hmm. Once I told them they could do it, they did it. That's all I did. I didn't do anything, I was just like, you can do this, obviously there's different levels, with that kind of thing. Like, you're not going to go jump over that bridge, that's ridiculous. But what I'm saying is, it's like when the mental aspect came first and then the physical.
Always. Mindset is everything.
Then
I love the quote, you win or you lose, you pick.
Yeah.
It's just mindset. Everything is mindset.
Yeah. That's why you're the coach that you are, because you're gonna help change people's lives in a positive way by keeping it simple. I'm just so glad that you came on. Thank you for your energy, and thank you for your time, and just thank you for speaking into the lives of people and making it better. And I hope to meet you in person someday. I'm sure it will happen. Yeah. And I guess that's all we got for now. Yeah. This is the fun part of podcasting, is finishing and starting. My husband's like, you got to get better at that.
Yeah, it's always kind of all over the place, eh?
It's crazy. But I love it.
I'm the same way.
I'm a huge fan, and I'm going to continue to be a huge fan. I'm going to continue to promote and share your podcast with all of my listeners and with people on social media and everything. And I'm excited to see what God's got for you for the rest of this year, because it's good and it's going to get better. And I'm excited to be able to have talked to you about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I've loved this. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Joey, real quick though, where can people find you? Like, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah. So Joey Speers on any platform. I only really use Instagram. You could find me at Joey Speers on the other ones, but you won't find much of me. I'm mainly on Instagram. JoeySpeers.com is my media agency website. And then the new coaching, if anybody's interested in coaching, is creativerisemmastermind.com. So come hang out, come message me on Instagram, and we'll see you around.
Yeah, and I'll put that stuff in the show notes, because you can send it to me and I'll just copy and paste. Does that sound good? Sound like a plan? All right. Well, enjoy your day, and that's all we got for now. Bye for now, guys.
Nice.